Tá anas orm bheith an seo in ála finiu, agus tá an imní orm faoi choíocht an isce. Ach tá is agam go tuairí mí an methil seo an freigraí faoir chun cuin. Comala bhím a lion ar an dúsláán tá rowing. It's a great privilege to be here with you this morning here in Galway. Conscious I'm a Kilkenny man in Galway today, so I promise not to gloat. And well, maybe I will. And but it is a great privilege, and certainly just the report, the EPA report this morning, certainly puts a huge challenge in front of all of us here collectively. But I know the expertise that's in this room, from having worked with many of you over the last couple of years, we can overcome these challenges and we can face them head on. I think it's critically important that we do. And in the last few weeks, we've seen floods in Emilia-Romagna, the region of northern Italy. We've seen the extreme weather events in Spain, and we're not really into full summer yet, so there's a real challenge ahead of us. We've also seen the criminal destruction of the vital water infrastructure in the Ukraine, endangering people's homes and regional food production. And it's clear now that we're facing a global crisis on water on many fronts. The scale of this global crisis is now resembling the scale of both the biodiversity loss and the climate crisis. The global demand for clean fresh water will outstrip the supply by 40% by 2030, according to a recent report by the Global Commission on the Economics of Water. Recent events such as the UN Water Conference and the historic agreement of the UN High Seas Treaty in March have brought a new international focus onto the area of water quality and protecting our seas. Here in Ireland, while we're not yet facing a similar scale of crisis, but we do have some intractable and deepening issues, such as the resilience of our water supplies, the loss of high-status water bodies, nutrient pollution, and restoring the natural functions of our rivers for biodiversity and for flood protection. We will hear later from the EPA more about the acute water quality challenges that we now face in Ireland. And I want to focus on how we can meet these challenges as a society and put this country on a sustainable pathway for water management. To address these many challenges, there are three things that we need to do now. Firstly, we need to work harder to integrate our responses to water, climate change and biodiversity loss across all policy areas and across public agencies and authorities. Secondly, we need to focus on collaboration and not conflict. And finally, most of all, we need to take action individually and collectively to protect, improve and restore water quality. In terms of integrating our policy responses, environmental policy encompasses a wide range of separate but interlinked policy areas, including climate, biodiversity, water and the marine environment. The proposed National Statement of Environment Policy, due to be published by the end of this year, will result in better coordination between these different policy areas and a more effective implementation process. The policy will facilitate a more comprehensive integrated policy development and enable synergies between the different policy areas to be maximised. It will also strengthen governance structures and facilitate better monitoring and reporting in relation to our commitments and targets. On taking a collective and collaborative approach, this is the approach we are taking to drafting the next River Basin Management Plan. It may take longer, but I believe it produces better and more robust policy. In recent weeks, we have seen how divisive approaches can be used by some to drum up fears and pit farmers against environmentalists. I'm clear that this is an artificial divide. We know that we cannot have good agricultural production without healthy nature and clean water, and we cannot restore nature without our farmers, without grazing animals, or without productive use of our land. The issue of the EU's proposed nature restoration law and the rewetting proposals in particular has been the subject of divisive commentary in recent weeks. Rewetting is not sterilising of our land or pickling it, as some have said, or flooding the land. Agriculture can continue and still be productive under rewetting. There are already really good examples across the country, and I think we need to look towards these. I've visited many of them, I've been on many farms over the last couple of years and seen some really excellent examples that can point a way forward. So I appeal for leadership at all levels to move the debate on climate, on biodiversity and water, and one of collaboration and co-creation. That doesn't mean it will be an easy discussion, but people want us to act for nature. They want us to be responsible, and they want us to show leadership, and above all, they want us to be honest about the challenges that we face. Water is at the heart of adaptation to climate change, serving as a crucial link between climate system, human society and the environment. Managed effectively, water can play a key role in strengthening the resilience of social, economic and environmental systems. Climate change, population growth, urbanisation are adding to the pressure on water resources and water services infrastructure. Strong and targeted action will be needed to protect our water from further decline and to restore water quality where past activities have caused damage. The challenges faced by water quality and water services infrastructure due to projected climate change include high rainfall and flooding leading to mobilisation of pollutants, reduced dilution of contaminants in water bodies at low flow, drying of peatland resulting in the reduction of natural filtration of pollutants, increased spread and viability of pathogens such as livestock waste and slurry, and changes in the distribution and viability of native and non-native invasive flora and fauna. My department is working on a number of key capital investment projects, legislation and national plans that will contribute to meeting these challenges. The Programme for Government has committed to funding Uisce Éireann's capital investment plan for drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. The National Development Plan commits to almost €6 billion capital investment by Uisce Éireann from 2021 to 25, of which over €4.5 billion will be voted Exchequer funding in respect of domestic water services. In Budget 2023 alone, almost €1.6 billion of funding was made available to Uisce Éireann, and I know that they are making considerable progress in the utilisation of that, and it's really encouraging to see. The investment will deliver significant improvements in our public water and wastewater services, support improved water supplies right across urban and rural Ireland, and support a range of programmes delivering improved water quality in our rivers, lakes and marine area. The Water Environment Abstractions and Associated Impoundments Act of 2022 was signed into law by President Higgins in December 2022. And this Act modernises the legal framework governing abstractions and provides for a system for licensing of large or environmentally significant abstractions, while also providing a system for their registration. Work has commenced on drafting of the regulations associated with that Act, and engagement with the EPA on the technical requirements has begun. The regulations, which will be published towards the end of this year, will contribute to the quantitative and qualitative maintenance and improvement of our water environment. Another area of progress has been the improvements in the quality of our bathing waters, as evident from the recent EPA Bathing Water Report, which found that 97% of sites are meeting or exceeding the minimum standards. For 2023, 94 Blue Flags and 65 Green Coast Awards were announced, which is a real tribute to the hard work and dedication of many groups and individuals to improve water quality around our coasts. With the increased interest in year-round bathing, University College Cork are currently completing a research study on behalf of the National Bathing Water Expert Group to collect scientific evidence on how to protect bathers' health outside of the current season. However, there are challenges ahead. In the most recent National Water Quality Assessment by the EPA, almost half, 46%, of Ireland's water bodies were found to be below good status and are not as ecologically healthy as they should be, or we would like them to be. The principal cause of the decline in water quality are the increasing losses into water of excess nutrients, nitrogen and phosphorus from farmland, inadequately treated wastewater, and the physical impacts on water bodies, such as interruption to river continuity from river barriers. The Government will shortly launch a new revised and strengthened River Basin Management Plan, which covers the third cycle of river basin planning for Ireland up to 2027. The plan will contain programmes of measures to address the water quality in rivers, lakes, estuarine and other coastal waters. The identification and implementation of the right measure in the right place will be the key driver behind this plan. Building on the work of previous cycles and by incorporating the integrated catchment management approach, the plan will again describe the main pressures on our water status and set out environmental objectives and measures to protect and to restore our water bodies. The integrated catchment management approach will be underpinned through the development and launch of 46 local catchment management plans. Increased public participation will be to the forefront of the catchment management plans through the use of new catchment community fora, and I think these are really important to support these. The River Basin Management Plan is a key commitment in the Programme for Government and will also show our commitment to abide by the principles of UN Sustainable Development Goal 6 to ensure safe access to water and sanitation by protecting and restoring our water bodies and by providing sustainable management of our water resources. Agriculture has been identified as the most significant pressure affecting water quality in Ireland. Without an urgent and well-coordinated mechanism for the implementation of substantial and persuasive measures, it is unlikely that Ireland will achieve significant progress in delivering good quality water status for all water bodies in the longer term. addressing the negative effects of agriculture brings benefits to both the quality of our waters and for climate change. The plan will seek to address these pressures through a balance of education and knowledge, such as through expansion of the Agri-Climate Rural Environment Scheme, ACRES, alongside enhanced inspection and enforcement requirements. The main measure for addressing pressures on water quality from agriculture is the introduction of the new Nitrates Action Programme, which gives effect to the requirements of the EU Nitrates Directive, and whose purpose is to prevent pollution of surface waters and groundwater from agricultural sources and to protect and to improve our water quality. The new Nitrates Action Programme includes stronger measures to reduce nutrient losses, to improve water quality, and will work with the new CAP strategic plan that has brought ecosystem approach and environmental management to the fore in a positive and a constructive manner from a water quality perspective. Measures introduced under the Nitrates Action Programme include tighter controls on the application of chemical fertilisers and slurry, stronger emphasis on risk-based inspections and enforcement, with up to 16,000 farm inspections to be undertaken by local authorities during the lifetime of the plan, and an industry-led initiative to reduce agricultural impacts on water quality. Another significant measure to help address water quality will be the upcoming Water European Innovation Partnership project. And the initiative is co-funded by my department and will invest funding of €60 million over 5 years. And this is a strategically important project for tackling agricultural source water pollution over the third cycle. This project is specifically focused on reducing losses of phosphorus, nitrogen, sediment and, where relevant, pesticides to water from agricultural lands by promoting the adoption of innovative best practice in nutrient management through the application of nature-based natural water retention measures and other suitable measures. The Water EIP provides a valuable opportunity to complement actions under the new Nitrates Action Programme and other programmes such as ACRES, thereby addressing a critical gap to measure and to protect and restore our water quality. One of the key principles of the plan is to deliver an integrated multiple policy objectives for water, biodiversity and climate wherever possible. The plan also seeks to develop a strategy for the implementation of nature-based solutions at a national scale to address the pressures from urban runoff, such as increased rainfall patterns due to climate change. The impact of extreme rainfall events is becoming more frequent, and as we increasingly see the effects of climate change on the environment. In turn, this can significantly increase both the level of pollution entering water bodies from urban runoff and the risk of flooding. A pilot project founded by my department commenced last year with Cork and Dublin City Councils to investigate how nature-based solutions can be used to address urban runoffs. And this project will look at a number of sites where a 24-month monitoring study will be undertaken. In the meantime, an interim high-level guidance document has been finalised to assist planning authorities with implementing nature-based solutions as part of ongoing new development. The best practice interim guidance document identifies the need for a significant change in the way we plan, design, build and maintain our urban areas. It is driven by 3 main factors: environmental, the impact of urban runoff on water quality; climate change, weather and rainfall patterns that have already significantly changed with increased experience of high-intensity local rainfall events; and flood risk, increased rainfall intensity and increasing levels of impermeable surface, urban surface combined to increase the risk of flooding. There's an urgent need to address this by retaining rainwater as close as possible to where it occurs within a catchment. So significant progress is being made in addressing the challenges we face, and government will continue to deliver a strong and ambitious commitments to the water services contained in the programme for government. I do kind of feel that we are like the end of the Galway Kilkenny match, where we're all scrambling around the goal line to get to that objective, and there's no doubt collectively, I think, through our collective actions we will achieve this, but there's no doubt we're also in a race against time, just like in those dying seconds of the Kilkenny-Galway match. I had to say it again, I'm sorry. Again, I just want to thank the EPA for the opportunity to address the conference, and such opportunities to discuss and refocus our attention on such a crucial aspect of our environment is always really welcome. I do hope that you find the next couple of days really useful and interesting. It's fantastic. There's fantastic attendance online, but it's really great to have you all here in the room as well, because sometimes it's the conversations that happen over the cup of tea or the lunch can be the ones that can spark further actions. But again, I wish you all a very productive and fruitful few days. Gormaith Gair.